Well, good morning, Bakersfield, surrounding communities, and everybody watching online on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. This is the Early Bird Special on this third day of October. For multiple reasons, you might remember this day, but we won't get into that today. This is the Early Bird Special. I'm Chris Burdick. That is Sparky. Sparky, good morning.
Good morning.
Let them know what they're in for on this Friday.
It could be the day that Diddy walks.
I know it.
We'll
And
find
honestly,
out.
for those of you who don't know, like it's been over a year.
Jeez.
It has been over a year since he's been in jail. I did not know that
insane.
until Sparky informed me this morning.
It feels like forever,
It
but
really does.
a year? That don't even seem like it
And you
should
know
be
what?
that.
He's gonna walk, even with all
You
that
think
crazy
so?
stuff. He's gonna walk, dude.
We'll find out, and we'll let you know if it happens because it looks like right over my
Yeah, it's
shoulder.
gonna happen
ticking.
at some point during the show.
But we'll get into last night's. Wow, what a game! Thursday night football. Plus, there was some great baseball games. We'll get into now that the series is all set. We'll get into the WNBA as the finals actually start tonight, if anyone even knew. Plus, there's some other drama in the WNBA like normal, and some NBA exhibition. We've got all sorts of stuff. Some John Gruden news. We've got all sorts of stuff. Plus, you can call, text in with your fantasy lineup questions, your baseball predictions, whatever you got on this Friday, 661-842-2000. And just so you know, the Greg Kerr Show will return today live from noon to 2, followed by the Money Wise guys right here in studio off of California Avenue in our ESPN
First time
studio.
in years since you
Been
guys
a couple
have been
years.
in here.
It is finally moving day for the Money Wise guys, as today at 10 a.m. the moving trucks will start backing up and grabbing our stuff and moving it over to the historic Woolworth building.
And then we will be live from the Woolworth building probably within a month.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We're still in development here. We're still trying to figure it out, iron out the last of what we need or what they need to do.
It's just the elevator.
It still baffles me to this. If any of you live in a building that has an elevator or have been in a situation where an elevator is broken and you've had to get it fixed, there's only two elevator companies in the country.
And this is an old school elevator like the Wayne's World where you slam the ding. And
so this is definitely one they don't just have parts for.
Yes.
So it just baffles me, though. How do we only have two?
Right.
Two? And there's a waiting list longer than a year on both of them? I mean, come on. Get this done. Somebody open. We're talking about a monopoly. Jeez.
Right. But there's some good things coming.
Absolutely.
We saw the Hard Rock is opening next month, which I'm pumped.
Wait.
I am pumped.
Wait.
On top of that, the Woolworth building, they've got a downtown party set for Saturday, October 25th.
Hope to see you all there.
So we'll be out there throwing shirts off stages, and on top of that, our buddy Dan Betts informed us last week that the Well Comedy Club opening up at the new or the old Fish Lips building, January 5th, January 6th,
somewhere in that area. It's all coming together.
It's all coming together.
It's all coming together. Much like it did for the 49ers last night, pulling off a massive win, 26-23. And I'm telling you, this is the first thing I was thinking throughout the entire night, Spark. And it's funny because I'm parroting Dan Orlovsky. If they would have drafted Mac Jones out of the start, they never would have needed Brock Purdy, and you probably would have won a Super Bowl by now.
You should let this guy rest for a little while.
I mean,
let Matt cook.
11 bananas on the sideline. You want a weird statistic. This boy had to eat 11 bananas on the sideline to keep his leg from falling out from under him during this game. There were multiple instances where he got hit, and I was like, oh, no.
And that last one, man.
Oh,
he looked like he was throwing up on the sideline.
I know, and he had to be carried off. Like, this dude was in a ridiculous amount of pain the entire game, but it didn't matter. From the word go, they came out firing 2 quick touchdowns to take a 14-0 lead over the Rams. The Rams looked absolutely lost, as if they just got punched in the mouth by a little schoolgirl. And they did all of this without their number 1, 2, or 3 wide receiver, their number 1 tight end, their number 1 quarterback, their best defensive player. How do the 49ers keep winning? That's what everybody is wondering. How is
couldn't
this a
believe
thing?
I couldn't believe I didn't put them together with Kendrick Bourne and Mac Jones with those New England days. I was like, that would have been a nice
You know
steal
what's
before
funny?
kickoff.
We were talking about the wide receivers yesterday that he was supposed to throw to. Kendrick wasn't even on the list.
Nope.
Kendrick wasn't even on the list. We're talking about Valdez Scantling. We're talking about Sky Moore, complete and total, just gone. But at this point, Sky Moore just bye. Bye.
But Bourne finished with 10 catches, 142 yards. I mean,
should have had a touchdown, but I mean, hey, at this point, this guy literally put the team on his back.
And what'd you think about that fumble?
Oh, God. Okay, so there were multiple, technically. The one that really killed it for me for the Rams was Kyron's going into the end zone. Beautiful peanut punch, though, by that rookie defensive tackle.
They're going to win it.
They're
going to win it. Nope, they're not.
Oh, man. I'm watching the game. I'm texting my buddy saying, oh, you guys are going to be fine. Don't worry about it. And then that's when it happened. I just saw the big old hand come from over the top. And I said, no. And then obviously you don't see it. You don't see anything happen. All you see is a scrum. Niner fans are going nuts, or Niner players are going nuts saying we got the ball. I can't believe the Rams made so many key mistakes when it mattered. And granted, again, the Rams are still a good football team. No one's sitting here saying the Rams are bad. That's why this win for the 49ers is so incredible, because, again, they're doing all of this without, their kidneys, their lungs, their liver. What do you want to say? At this point, if Mac Jones went down, they do it all without a vertebrae. And it is just shocking to me that the Niners were able to pull this off. Now, there was a late surge by the Rams. To be honest with you, I'm sitting there in overtime thinking, my God, are we really about to see 2 ties in a week? Because it really was starting to make me feel that way. But a 4th down stand on 4th and 1.
And I got to give it to McVay, man. At least
you got to go for it.
Like,
you have
we're not
to
playing
go
for a tie. We're playing to win.
Hey, he did exactly what every NFL fan wanted from Green Bay on Sunday. And I don't blame him. You have to go for that. 4th and 1. The run game is usually pretty successful for you. You have to rely on it. You got to rely on someone like Kyren Williams to make a play. The defensive line for the 49ers and Fred Warner just made a better one. They made a better push. That's all it really was. And it went the Niners' way this time. And this is how football needs to end, to be completely honest with you. Maybe that's what it needs to be for overtime rules. Maybe you have to go for it on 4th down. That's something that no one's really thrown out there yet.
No kicks at all.
No kicks at all. No field goals.
And dude, that punt that almost went out of bounds and just magically bounced right over to the 1 yard line. That game was really, really entertaining. Plus, I was going back and forth with the Yankees game.
Yes.
But I got to say, because that first half, I was like, all right, this is going to be a snore fest. The Niners are just going to beat them up. And I turned back after the Yankees game, and I was like, okay, we got a game.
Now that you say that, though, most entertaining Thursday night game we've seen in a while?
Oh, yeah.
I'd have to agree with you.
I mean, besides my Dolphins-Bills game, but that was nothing like this.
No, but this was one of those games where it's like I couldn't move away. At that point, after turning this game on, said, oh, I'm not going back to the Yankees.
And my kid was waiting like, can we watch Peacemaker already?
Nope.
I'm like, no, dude.
No,
we got to watch the end of this.
If you haven't been watching Peacemaker, you're missing out on life right now. This is probably one of the craziest seasons
I just wish the episodes were longer.
I do too, but at this point, that's every TV show for me, especially the ones that go straight to streaming.
And next week's the final episode.
Yep.
I was like, what?
Yep. And they say this is the craziest one out of all of them. If you haven't been watching this season of Peacemaker, this has got to be probably the best I've ever seen John Cena act. But I mean, just the entire premise of the season, him going into this new universe that's not even technically, it's run by Nazis essentially.
The Nazi world.
The Nazi world.
But his dad's nice.
His dad's actually a nice guy instead of the villain. I'm like, because I'm watching that scene where he's talking to his dad. His brother's dad's just trying to get the information out of him. His brother wants to kill him. And he's just sitting there like, it was a mistake. And the dad's like, oh, it was a mistake. Okay, we're fine.
Yeah, we're good.
I mean, I'm sitting here waiting for him to sit there and say, are you nuts? I'm going to kill you. Like, like the old character. But I'm like, wow, he's actually a good guy. Like,
it's a great show if you haven't watched it.
It's so good.
And
so
are they going to do another season?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this one's not going anywhere. But anyways, back to football. I apologize. I know. We'll get to what we're watching
Friday.
this weekend at the end of the show. And trust me, there's plenty to go check out this weekend if you're looking for something.
But if you're the Niners coach,
yeah,
are you sticking with Mac?
Yeah.
I mean, why would you
Why
pull him?
not?
Why would you pull him?
As we said yesterday, when they benched Purdy, until he's 100%, and I mean 100%, you have to bench him. Because Mac Jones has showed you time and time again, he can lead this team. And honestly, at this point, if I'm Brock Purdy, I might actually be worried for my job. Because again, let's not forget that Mac Jones was the initial target for the San Francisco 49ers in his draft. They traded up supposedly to get Mac Jones. They ended up taking Trey Lance, but all the rumors that we heard were out of this 49er camp that Kyle Shanahan loved Mac Jones. He wanted Mac Jones, and they didn't take him. That's why I said when we started this segment, to be honest with you, if they would have taken him in the first place, God only knows where the 49ers would be right now. You definitely would not have Brock Purdy at the helm. I can promise you that, unless you drafted him late to be a backup to Mac Jones. And then it'd be a completely, obviously opposite situation here. But yeah, until I see any different, until I see a Mac Jones from Bill Belichick days where he just looked awful. And again, I don't necessarily blame him for that. I blame Bill for that. Because a lot of people give Mac grief for the way he played in his sophomore season. Because let's not forget, his rookie season looked good. His sophomore season, not so much. But again, you could chalk that up to Bill Belichick not liking him and essentially throwing him to the wolves, not giving him a quarterback coach to actually develop him, and pretty much just throwing him to whatever coach he wanted to at the time, including himself, saying, just throw 5-yard outs. That doesn't help anybody.
I mean, I'd love to have the guy.
I know. I think there's a lot of teams I would love to have Mac
And
Jones.
I think that's what is going to end up out of this. I think he gets paid this offseason.
You think he's the next in line to find to of these resurging quarterbacks to pop up?
I think he'll be like Sam Darnold. He'll find somebody and somebody's going to pay him.
You were probably right, but honestly, if I'm the San Francisco 49ers, I'd pay him myself.
Yep.
I keep his butt on this roster just in case. I mean, again, we talked about it yesterday. Like, I don't mean to keep parroting myself, but 49er fans clearly got some sort of bad juju with the injury bug. I don't know what it is. I really don't. But you guys got some bad juju around you that takes away all of your key players during the season. And that really is what faults you in winning a lot of these games. Last year, if you guys had Mac Jones as a backup,
Mac Jones
probably would have been a completely different season.
We're talking about a 4-1 49er team with, half of their stars out. It's insane.
And one of those stars isn't Christian McCaffrey, believe it or not.
And yes.
And at this point, again, I'm going to ride this train. Mac Jones till the day he loses, or the day Brock Purdy comes back 100% and he's better than Mac.
And I was going to say, the only loss they have is when they put in Purdy a little too early. And I would just say Mac Jones, I mean, I wasn't a fan, but I think, like we've said for months, it's just fitting in the right, offense or coaching that fits your personality, your traits. And I think the Niners have those with those game managing type quarterbacks, and he's got an arm, man. And I was seriously surprised because we all took both football pick shows that we did.
Oh yeah, everybody took the Rams.
Everybody took the Rams.
No one was expecting the Niners.
Do you think it was the either shell shock from the Rams, or do you also think the play calling towards the end? Because I know McVay said in the post that it was on him, that was a stupid call on the 4th down. It was a stupid call on this, but I mean, it was working.
It wasn't a stupid call to me, because I mean, in these games, you have to take a risk sometime, especially when it's a division rival. You need this win. Both teams came in 3-1, and winner was going to walk away with the lead of the division. You have to have these plays where you're willing to bet on your guys. And honestly, if I'm McVay, I respect him regardless, but I respect him even more when he comes into the post-game presser and takes full responsibility, because that's what you should do as a head coach. And I don't mean that in a sense of like, if it was an ugly game, you need to take all the blame, but it's more of when these games happen, when your team comes out, gets popped in the mouth, and then looking around and saying, what the hell just happened? We're down 14-0. You as a coach had to make those established changes in the game to bring yourself back. And that's what he did.
Yeah.
He brought you back to overtime. It just one bad play ended up losing you the game.
That's what it takes.
And honestly, well, I shouldn't say
and you can't predict
two bad plays.
You can't predict turnovers, but
no.
And what the hell? The one last thing I got was the Rams kicker.
Yeah.
I mean, how difficult is it to kick it in a landing zone?
This has been multiple times, though. We've seen this. I mean, and a lot of, much like last night, a lot of teams shot themselves in the foot or damn near shot themselves in the foot by doing this. I think the problem is that they're trying to establish a squib kick that actually lands in the zone.
in the 20.
And yeah, and obviously back last year and before this entire thing was set up, squib kicks could go midfield and roll. Now you have to aim that squib kick to go further. And when you're aiming that squib, because the whole point of it landing in the landing zone and rolling gives your guys a chance to run up and stop
Yeah, it
him
gives you
before he
time.
actually gets going.
Get a lucky bounce.
Right. Or, if it bounces into the end zone, all that type of stuff, it really does matter. But until kickers are able to do this consistently and accurately, I don't think you should let them do it at
I
all.
was like, this is bad timing to try to get cute with your kick.
Right. That's what I keep saying too. And you notice that it happens at the end of games. And it's like, again, kickers are great in the NFL, but until we see some consistency.
Another block field goal. I mean, we got a lot of stuff last night's game. And then one other thing, I got probably 4 or 5 texts. I have to remind listeners, if you don't watch as bad as our fanatics as we are, but the overtime change is because everyone texts me like, hey, why would they kick? Why would they pick to kick? And I was like, because they both,
They
whether they
want
score a field goal or a
Yeah,
touchdown,
they want the
they
second
get a
shot.
possession.
Honestly, that made sense to me, although as referees, I mean, you have to look at these professionals and let them know what the rules are.
Right.
Because for most people that were texting me confused, why did they switch sides out of nowhere? It's because the referees didn't do their jobs
Because
correctly.
Stafford said defer, and he's like, no, you
You
can't do
can't
that.
defer. You can't defer in overtime.
Okay, we'll kick.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's either you kick it or you receive it. I don't know what you're trying to defer. Like that bugs me too, to be honest with you. If you win the coin toss, pick which one you want. Stop deferring. If you want to defer, we should defer before the thing even goes up.
You just agree, give him a fist bump, and let's go.
Right. You're gonna say, hey, we're gonna defer anyway. They can pick whichever side they want to go from. Why do we even need to do the coin? Why? Every time you guys win or lose anyway, it's always, oh, I'm gonna defer. Stop it. You're gonna kick or receive the ball. It's not that it's not that hard of a concept. But for the referees not to ask which side you want to go from and set it up
And let
correctly.
him line it up and then switch.
Yes,
I'm like,
that's the part that got me, is that you guys let them set up and then you stopped everything and flipped it. It's like, God, you guys make this look a little more professional, please.
well, we get into some other football news, some injuries right after this break. We are the Early Bird Special on ESPN Bakersfield, 12:30 a.m.
101.1 FM.
Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special on ESPN Bakersfield. We're also streaming video every single weekday, 7 to 9 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Also follow us on TikTok, Instagram. We're all over the place. Just find us on social media. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. You'll get updated on all the latest in sports, entertainment, and sports entertainment. We try to do everything.
And if you're a big Corn fan, they're playing in Sacramento at the Aftershock Festival this weekend.
I wish I was there.
Me too. I usually go, but
I know
got
you
a lot,
usually do go.
Got a lot on our plate this week.
No, that's absolutely fair.
And I don't have $1,500 to drop to go to a festival right now.
Everything is getting expensive. I know we talk about how wrestling tickets are getting expensive and all this other stuff, but everything is getting expensive. That's why I just can't. I can't deal. But let's talk about somebody who has a ridiculous amount of money that really doesn't have to worry about that. That's Shedeur Sanders, because this boy has been getting nothing but grief for the last 3 days. Well, 2 days, really, but 3 days, because it's going to continue today. I can promise you that. This entire pantomime thing, him just miming out an answer to the media, not saying a word, everybody's taking this, I think, completely wrong. I think a lot of people are seeing this as an indictment on him. I've heard it, Orlovsky, Rex Ryan. I mean, a lot of these NFL guys come out and say that he's losing a job because of this. I don't think that's the case, but I mean, that's just my personal opinion. But I have to echo what I said yesterday. What do you expect him to say? Why are we going to the third string quarterback, not the guy who got benched? We should be going to Joe Flacco. But no, you guys went to Shedeur, hoping and praying he'd give you a clip. That's what this was. And now because he didn't, everybody's mad at him for that? And I don't get it. I don't get why we are judging this kid based on what we already know. We know what his personality is like. It hasn't changed in 2 months. Come on. I mean, I think that's the misconception a lot of people have is everybody just thinks this kid's an arrogant a-hole. And I really don't see that. I don't know if it's just me, but I think he did the right thing by not saying anything. Now, again, was it the smartest way to go about it? Probably not. But it was funny. It went viral. And to be honest with you, it's probably the best thing he could have done. Because if he had answered that question in any way, shape, or form, you would have cut it up. You would have made him look even more arrogant. And then all we would have been hearing was, see, this is why he's the third string in Cleveland. He clearly doesn't get it. Get over yourselves.
I think that's why a lot of teams looked the other way during the draft, because they didn't want the circus in there. But I kind of feel bad for the kid.
He's not the one making the circus.
And why are you, is it that bad of a slug? I mean, we got the baseball playoffs going on. We got the WNBA Finals tonight. We've got great NFL games going on. The NBA exhibition just kicked off, and you're chasing around a quarterback 3.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, this is really the best interview you guys could have gone, huh?
This is TMZ now.
That's what I'm saying. And at this point, it's kind of reminding me of Aaron. It really is. Because again, although Aaron doesn't help himself with what he says, he also doesn't exactly go out of his way to make stories for the media to follow. The media just kind of does it. And they do this all the time with guys who come in with a lot of hype. Cam Newton got a lot of the same situation happen to him because anything Cam did, said, or like even clothes he wore, media would rip into him. Remember all the grief they used to give him for the clothes he would wear to pressers or to pregame? And everybody like, oh, wow, that's an interesting outfit for a quarterback. Come on, you really don't think they were complimenting him, do you? This is all the media just stirring this up. And yet it's annoying to me that I see guys like Orlovsky and guys who have played in the league, who know how this stuff goes, attacking this kid for this.
Just throwing wood in the fire. I mean, I can get it from Rex Ryan or the Stephen A's and stuff like that, because that's what they do.
Right.
They do rants and they feed into those types of things. But I mean, this kid hasn't even taken an official NFL snap, and you're already digging up his personality, and it's
Exactly.
it's silly, dude.
And if you guys really wanted him to be successful, if you really wanted him to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, we wouldn't have this media pressure all over him. Genuinely.
I
Do
mean,
you
you would
s-
think this week would be the week
it,
we'd hear nothing but Dylan Gabriel.
Thank you. I was just about to get to that.
I mean, the kid gets his first start.
If anybody was going to be interviewed, it should have been Dylan. Why are we in front of Shedeur's locker? The hell is going on? Like, that's my thing. It's like, I hate when the media sets up a story, crushes an athlete because they don't like what he said or didn't say, and then make it his problem as if he started this whole thing.
Yeah, there's no right answer to those questions.
No. And it's like, what?
Do you think this is going to be a beneficial thing for Gabriel, though?
Probably, because
The
it'll keep
spotlight's
him,
not on him. And
yeah, it'll keep the pressure off of
you
him.
could just grind and play.
And although, yes, it's still a distraction in the locker room,
But if he has a bad game, man,
we're talking about Shedeur
headlines all week next week.
Mhm. And everybody who was bashing Shedeur this week is going to be saying, well, it looks like he might be the heir apparent now. It's such a weird switch up every single time, but it bugs me to my core just because we are setting this kid up as if he's just this arrogant, like egotistical kid. What all we've heard, and mind you, there's no video, there's no audio, there's no proof of anything that these owners said about Shedeur Sanders in these meetings. None of it. They could all be lying, but nobody cares. And personally, from what I've seen, I don't know if what we heard about his pre-draft meetings is actually what went on. I think everybody just sees his dad, sees the arrogance from the family, and says, oh, we're going to teach you a lesson. You're not going to do that to us. There's not going to be a prime time too. Like, this is just getting excessive. It's getting ridiculous. And to be honest with you, I hope this kid comes out. I do not wish any ill will to Dylan Gabriel whatsoever. I just don't believe in him as a starting quarterback, at least not yet. He can always change my mind. But I hope Shedeur wins this job eventually and tears it up. So all we hear from the media is, oh, we always knew Shedeur was going to be that guy. Everybody was just waiting for it to happen.
Of course.
And then I can be on this show repeating every single audio piece from the last week of everybody ripping into this kid because he pantomimed an answer and didn't want to put himself even further in a hole. It's like, this stuff is just ridiculous.
It's even gotten to the point where they're following Colorado players and asking them like they have anything to do with anything that goes on in the NFL or the Cleveland locker room.
And that's my point. Dude, I mean, I could feel it while I was sitting in the Raider post-game presser. To be honest with you, there were reporters in there that were baiting Pete Carroll and Gino into answers that I was just like, really? That's what you're here to do? You should be on the other team. Like, that's what we should be here doing. You should be over talking to the Chargers because clearly you don't care what the Raiders have to say. You just want an answer.
They want the clip.
And that's what it again, I keep saying it, but it bugs me to my core because what I got into journalism for ain't what these guys are doing. And it really irritates me. We should be sharing the stories of these athletes. We should be showing the world how they are as a person, not setting them up for failure and trying to get clips out of them so your dumb butt can go viral. And guess what? No one remembers the reporter that asked the question, idiot.
No. Well, we'll take a break. We'll get some. We got some news out of John Gruden and his case against the NFL. Plus, we got some injuries. Plus, we got some text. If you've got any lineup questions or your 2 cents on this whole Shedeur thing, text them in 661-842-2000. We are the Early Bird Special.
Welcome back. Sparky ever expands your knowledge of metal music. See, this is still the only show on radio where you'll get woken up by metal music. And we enjoy that here.
Yes,
This
we
is the
do.
early bird special. This is what we do. This is ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. We are also streaming video live every single weekday, 7 to 9 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Plus, there's plenty other videos for you to go check out if you haven't already. A couple of our past interviews. Our interview with Sal Bruno will be up there this weekend. We'll be cutting some clips as well from the last couple days of what we've been talking about. Probably get a little bit of the NFL reactions in there as well. You guys seem to like that one from last week.
We'll have
amongst
German
others.
559 fighter next week.
Absolutely. Can't wait to talk to him again. Have him get in here because he still got the belt. He still got the belt. Although, I mean, it's for different reasons, but he still got the belt. And we're happy about that. Let's talk about somebody who's winning as well, but this time in the world of the judicial system.
Winning.
John Gruden, who has been eager to find out the full truth of what happened with all these crazy emails that essentially got him fired back in 2021. The NFL tried to petition for a rehearing in the court of Nevada. Nevada said, and no,
Unanimously.
not happening. You guys broke the Constitution. You went out of your way to get this man fired. You released emails that damned him and defamed him, and essentially stopped him from getting any job as an analyst, coach, or otherwise for the last 5 years because of it.
Come to Miami.
I mean, at this point, or LSU. But
I'd be happy either way.
I mean, true. The NFL's next move is to take this all the way to the Supreme Court, which is a possibility from what they're saying. They are considering taking this all the way to the top to see if they can somehow squeak their way out of explaining why Roger Goodell and the NFL pressured the Raiders into firing him essentially by releasing these emails back when he was an analyst. Now, granted, what he said in those emails is not acceptable. Everybody knows that. Nobody's saying that what he said is acceptable. However, cancel culture has really made a thing out of going back in time 5, 10, 15 years and grabbing the worst of somebody, piling it all together and pretending like it was just said yesterday. And that's essentially what the NFL did to John Gruden. And now with the Nevada High Court saying, hell no. Hopefully the Supreme Court will rule similarly. And we can
go.
Yeah, all this could go away. We could just sweep it away. Gruden wins. NFL has to explain what the heck happened with those emails.
You still let them, do you think they let him coach again?
It's kind of like the Brian Flores situation for me. I've said it when it came to Brian Flores, and it's really weird to me that Brian still has a job, but it's not because of how good of a coach he is. It's because I don't know of a single organization that'll let you sue them and still work there at the same time. So realistically, probably not.
That's all.
Or at least not in the next 5 to 10 years. You got to let this die down, especially if they lose the case. Because if you don't think the NFL owners are going to be salty about that, and Roger Goodell, because Roger Goodell will be salty, he has to give up a couple mil.
That's what I'm thinking. I think they'll probably let him go to college and let the Goodell contract play out, and probably a whole new regime before he ever gets to coach again.
I think so, or at least at the pro level.
Which I don't agree with anything that was sent in those emails.
Absolutely not.
But he's a hell of a coach, and
But
we've
again,
seen crazier things.
I could go back in time and literally anybody's social media that's listening to me right now, we could find something that could get you canceled. Let's be honest. If you're my age, you were using slang terms at the time, but now that are seen as hate speech, and we were throwing around on Facebook and YouTube and all over the place, Instagram, wherever you want to go, like it was candy. So before we start throwing stones from our glass houses, let's realize that this man was essentially damned. They took a guy who at the time was the head coach of the Raiders on the way from Oakland to Las Vegas, and for some reason just decided he's too big. We don't want him here. And we're going to release everything that we have on the guy.
They had this file probably sitting in a file cabinet for a while waiting to release. And then John did something to anger Goodell and the owners. And they said, all right, fine. Here's this. Bam. And defamed him. And for those of you who don't understand how serious that is, he literally couldn't get a job. And this is John Gruden we're talking about. Somebody that you all, if you watch football, know very, very well.
Chucky.
Thank God for Barstool Sports. But this guy was essentially thrown out to pasture on a deserted island and told to survive after the NFL completely defamed him and canceled him for nothing, or at least from what we understand. I need to find out what led to the release of the emails. And that's what all of this is going to boil down to, is we're finally going to figure out that answer.
That pushing point that said, oh, you know what?
Yep.
The NFL is going to release all this.
Because if I am John Gruden's lawyer, first question I ask any NFL official while they're on the stand is, why'd you do it? What led to the release of the emails? Why did you release these? And how long were you sitting on them? Because to me, that's also damning for the NFL. Because they were sitting on those for a while, which means you were completely okay with him sending these emails and saying all of this stuff to his staff and everybody else that these emails were sent to until you decided that it wasn't okay. How many other people are in the league right now that you're sitting on with that kind of situation, with that kind of information? That doesn't look good for the NFL. It really doesn't. But no one ever looks at it from that side of the coin. At this point, though, I really hope this does go to Supreme Court, because there are a lot of questions about this that I know John Gruden wants answered. There's a lot of questions that I have that I would love to hear answered. And to be honest with you, the NFL, when it comes to this type of stuff, needs to have the book thrown at them. It does. Because as much as we all love football, and as we said yesterday, football is king. But the Shield needs to know that it's still an organization within the bounds of the American government and the American judicial system.
That's what it is.
So
that's what needs to happen.
We need to teach a lesson to Roger Goodell and these owners, not even just with this Gruden thing, but also with the Brian Flores thing. You've got to hit them with it. They're not above the law. And to sit on this type of information and defame a man, it shouldn't be okay. It shouldn't, because if the NFL can get away with this, who's to say that your job's not going to do the same thing to you? And if it's sanctified by the Supreme Court, by the way, it'll be sanctified by every other court underneath it as well, because they will just use this as an example. So trust me, everybody should be rooting for John Gruden.
It'll be the Gruden rule. But we'll take a break. We'll wrap up the NFL talk. We've got some players that have officially been ruled out. Plus, we'll get into a couple of your fantasy lineup questions. And then in the second hour, we will get into some baseball. Now that the matchups are set, and we'll have some live baseball right here on ESPN over the weekend, right here on the Early Bird Special.
Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM, streaming video every single weekday on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Look us up on the Early Bird Special. We got a couple text messages to get to. Second half of the show, we'll get into these baseball games that you saw last night. Did the Padres get screwed? God, that last strikeout in the ninth was really ugly, and I can't wait for ABS. Neither can Xander Bogaerts, but ultimately, it doesn't matter at this point. What else we got in the text messages?
Oh, we've got any word on Lamar? It looks like he might play. They haven't ruled him out, but I did see. I don't know anything about Lamar. I don't know if they're just being shady with it, but I also did see Pro Bowl safety Kyle Hamilton isn't practicing either for Baltimore. But when it comes to Lamar, I am not sold on it yet.
I'm not either. And to be honest with you, no news is bad news, because usually by Friday, you know if these guys are going to play or not. For those of you who are struggling in the running back category like I right now, Chuba Hubbard not playing this week. So I hope you can find a replacement here in the next 2 days. I really wish they would have announced that a couple days ago, but it is what it is.
And Terry McLaurin has been ruled out.
Yep.
No news on Debo. I know he didn't practice the last 2 days.
I would expect Debo to play just because it's Debo and he usually plays through injuries like this, but don't expect him to get big numbers. It's usually something that can hinder him. Lamar, though, I know I would pick somebody up as a backup just in case. If Lamar plays, play him as always, but there is a good chance here that he and Kyle Hamilton won't see the field against the Texans this week.
Well, when it comes to fantasy lineup questions, we've got a handful of them. Dak or Mahomes?
Dak all day. No, I'm just kidding. Crack Wagon or the Chiefs. It's a hard sell right now. Now I think about it, though, I probably would go with Dak Prescott just because he's putting up numbers, and even without CeeDee Lamb, and the Kansas City offense is still struggling to kind of find its footing early in games. So I'm going to go with Dak.
The next one says, any updates on Bucky? Is he ruled out?
Bucky is out for the next 2 weeks from what I read this morning on ESPN. So I would stay away from Bucky, which really sucks for that Tampa Bay offense because they do need a run game to be successful. Without Mike Evans, without Bucky, you're losing players left and right. Chris Godwin didn't exactly look like Chris Godwin last week. Hopefully he can shake off the rust. But as of right now, Bucky Irving, another one of those running backs you're going to need to put on the bench for at least a week or two.
Well, speaking of Godwin, this one says, do I go with Hollywood Brown or Godwin this weekend?
God, I would love to tell you Godwin. I really would. But I think he's going to need at least a couple weeks to shake the rust off. We have to remember he hasn't played football in quite some time, and that does matter when you're playing wide receiver. So I'd probably say Hollywood, but I mean, my luck, this will be the week he just shakes it all off and Baker finds him for 3 touchdowns.
I was going to say, usually when Godwin goes off, he goes off.
Right. And that's why I'm like, and honestly, the ceiling for Godwin is way higher than anything Hollywood will sniff. So it's a tentative answer for you, but I just don't know if this is the week that Godwin shakes off the rust.
This one said, I had Kyron on my bench. I started Skataboo, Jonathan Taylor, and Gibbs this week.
Why? Look, okay, I know Thursday night games are rough, okay? But guys like Kyron Williams, you got to play him every single week. That guy is a touchdown machine.
If not, trade him.
I know, absolutely. If you're not going to use him, trade him because somebody else will gladly use him. But at this point, that's on you, big boy. You got to play that man.
This one's going off the Gruden story. It says, we'll probably find out more emails from others from the Gruden case. I don't agree what he said either, but I think others will be exposed.
I agree with you. And that's the other thing is how much information are we sitting on that we don't know yet? The NFL was clearly okay with sitting on the emails from Gruden. So what else did they not tell us? That's what I'm saying. No one ever looks at that side of the coin. Of the NFL clearly had this in their back pocket for a while.
I remember when it first broke, Gruden's like, okay, you going to release some emails? I got some emails.
Right, exactly.
The another fantasy question says, do I go with Juwan Johnson or should I finally go with Darren Waller this week? Thanks, guys.
Darren Waller, baby. I love Juwan Johnson out with the Saints. He's pretty much the only one that Rattler can throw to on a consistent basis. But I loved what I saw from Darren Waller. And Sparky has said it since last Thursday.
Tua loves his tight ends.
He does. And to be honest with you, I would not be surprised if Darren Waller sees the field for at least double the amount of snaps he saw last
Well,
week.
there was a reason why they let him sit the first month. The
Right.
other one says Worthy or Nico.
Nico Collins. I love me some Nico Collins. And you know what? With Kyle Hamilton out, I'll stick with Nico. I think Nico Collins will get it over for you. CJ Stroud's desperately looking for a game where he can bounce out and actually come back to his form. And with how bad the Baltimore defense has been in the first quarter of the season,
I cut him.
Honestly, I was
got
about
rid of
to.
him.
And that's saying something. I mean, we're talking about the Ravens here, but I think that this might be the week that Nico Collins actually has a good week because, again, that secondary of the Baltimore Ravens is in tatters right now.
Do I go with Shaheed or Mims? I picked Mims up after I heard the show Wednesday. Need this win. Go Phillies. Sorry, Dodger fans. Woo! You can have the MVP award. We want the team trophy.
Damn, Skippy. I'm going to go with Mims in that situation. Mims gives you the positive of also being a return man. So you get points for all the return yards, or at least if you're in a PPR league, I should specify, you get the additives of giving his return yards at the same time. And this is somebody that could easily rack up over 100 return yards in a game. He probably won't get you a whole ton of catches, but realistically speaking, he'll still be up in the 8 to 9 to 10 point range. So I'd go with Mims.
And my boy Mike over at Pro Football Focus said there's 7 names to keep an eye on with the trade deadline about a month away.
Oh, yeah. Who we got?
He says Kirk Cousins, obviously.
Naturally. I mean, there's a couple teams that could probably pick up Kirko, but there are also teams that probably would just benefit from staying with what they got and figuring out other issues that they have. Cincinnati.
The other one is Trey Hendrickson with the Bengals season going out. I think they trade him.
Yeah, especially since they haven't really given him any reason to believe that they're going to extend his contract past this year. So I would agree with you. I think that's a good choice.
And he did say mentions or speculation around in Miami that they are on the phone with the Saints trying to get Olave.
Ooh, they know it. That would be a great replacement too. Somebody with very sure hands can run a lot of great routes for you. I would love to see him out of the NFC South too, just saying. But
And
that's
he said
also
he's got a big Cuban following and his family's in Miami. Bring it on.
Hey, if anything to help the Dolphins get back into form. That's all we're thinking.
Do it before the season gets away from them.
Yeah, no kidding. But at this point, I mean, the NFL always just waits until trade deadline.
And I did see Tyreek walking after his surgery. He's already hobbling around and said he did talk to reporters yesterday and said he wants to finish his career in Miami to make a deal and we'll make it work.
Okay.
I don't see it happening, but
I don't mean to give an eye roll, but we've heard Tyreek Hill say a lot of different things in the last year. So we will see if that holds up here in the weeks to come. We got to take a break. On the other side, we'll get into this MLB wildcard shutoff games. Absolute bangers all across the country. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield.
Welcome back. Second hour of the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. Streaming video every single weekday, 7 to 9 in the morning on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Feel free to join us, see our beautiful faces every single day. We got to talk baseball because the NL and ALDS are officially set. Sparky got 2 out of 3 correct yesterday. I was only correct on 1. That was the Cubbies. And to be honest with you, Cubbies dang near lost it. Probably should have. And I don't think there's any baseball player on the planet right now that's ready for ABS more than Xander Bogaerts. Because he got rung up on that first out in the 9th by a fastball so low, I don't even think a gopher could have hit it. And again, I just highlight this because I get a lot of grief on this show for being a pro ABS person. A lot of people have texted in this show saying how dumb it sounds and how much it's going to ruin baseball. Y'all need to calm down. You really do. No one's getting rid of human umpires. But at the end of the day, situations like this, 9th inning, someone just hit a home run for your team. You're trying to mount a comeback in the playoffs on an away game in a very live crowd in Chicago. Umpires are not allowed to make that mistake. You're not. There are some jobs that you just got to have to accept that mistakes cannot be made. And in this certain situation, MLB umpires, that's one of them. So I think ABS is going to be a fantastic thing coming in to keep these guys in check and to give that opportunity for players like Xander Bogaerts, who know for a fact they weren't struck out, to at least plead their case and not get kicked from the game. Because that's a big problem right now, too, is that umpires today are soft. And I mean soft, 12-ply soft. I mean, I've seen guys throw out players in the dugout and they don't even know who was talking. I mean, it's just gotten to a point where that is a problem. However, the Cubbies pull it out 3-1 in a very, very fun game to watch. Yu Darvish got absolutely manhandled, was removed after 1 inning. And at this point, if you are the Cubbies headed to take on your NL Central rival of the Milwaukee Brewers, I apologize. I think you're sitting pretty. I think you're pretty confident. You guys have heard me say my thoughts when it comes to the Brewers. I see the Brewers as the Minnesota Vikings of baseball. And I say that because you every single year have somebody of relevance, your Ryan Brauns, your Christian Yelich's, Prince Fielders, somebody that's always historically relevant in terms of statistics. And yet, every single time when it matters, we never see you in the dance. We never see you at the final of all of it. You can blame whatever you want out of it. You can blame organizational issues. You can blame, whether you can handle the pressure of it all. But at the end of the day, when you're facing off against teams like your division rival here in the Cubbies who are red hot, I think you got to be worried if you're the Milwaukee Brewers here. I really do. And obviously on the opposite side of this, we already talked about it yesterday. Dodgers, Phillies ready to get underway tomorrow. That game will, I believe, be the 3:00 game. I believe the evening game will be the Seattle Mariners game.
Yeah, the early game is the Brewers Cubs at 11.
The Yankees will be right after that.
Yankees at 1.
With
Phillies, Dodgers 3:30, and Tigers and Mariners at 5:30.
And much like the wild card series, we're going to see multiple division rivals facing off against each other. Any of these series that you're looking forward to a little more than the others outside of our own? Let's put ours aside.
Question.
Let's put ours aside.
Personally, I'm going to stay with the Yankees and Jays.
That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I think all of the series are going to be awesome. It's entertaining. The series look awesome. Obviously, I want to see with the Phillies and Dodgers. I don't have any pony in the race, but I just want. I've heard so much from Dodger fans recently because I have to answer the phone
naturally,
and I read the text, so I'm the one that has to read all that. Go Dodgers! I personally just want a good, entertaining series. I hope it goes 5.
And honestly, kudos to the rookie pitcher for the Yanks as well, Schlittler, who went off last night.
I mean, 12 Ks in 8 innings, that's what you want. That's what you need.
0 walks.
I mean, blanking a division rival in a go-home game, this kid just made himself a Yankees legend, at least for a
So
year.
the announcer was like, "This kid can get free drinks anywhere
Anywhere
in New York right now."
I mean, are you kidding? They're gonna anybody sees this guy on the street, they're gonna ask, "Do you want me to carry you to your car?" We'll carry you to your car, sir. Like it.
I just love it anytime Boston loses in
I
general,
know,
but
and again, I don't exactly have love lost for either of these teams. Yankees, Red Sox. I mean, long histories of just being teams that beat up on others, but I have a slight hatred for the Yankees just because
Of
they knocked
course.
us out of the World Series a couple years ago when I was a kid, and I was praying that Ryan Howard and Jimmy Rollins and all of them were going to get a second one. But
Well,
no,
my wife's a big Yankees, the whole family Yankee fans on that side. So I
ugly.
personally don't have any love for the Yankees, but
No.
I just hate Boston. So
Well, and
anytime
it's
Boston could lose
yeah,
in any sport, I'm happy.
that's fair. That's absolutely fair. I mean, but at this point, either one of these teams going up against the Blue Jays was going to be a fantastic series. We're going to see Vladdy Guerrero going against Aaron Judge. I mean, these pitchers for the Yankees are going to have a tall order, much like the pitchers for the Blue Jays are going to have as well. Personally, the one that I can't wait to watch, though, it's got to be you guys. I need to see Seattle. I want to see Seattle in the worst way get past this round, get all the way to the World Series. I am a sucker for underdogs. I really am. But when a team is finally in the playoffs that hasn't been there in years, it's just the energy, the ambiance when they do make it, it's different. I was talking to a couple people yesterday about the Cubbies when the Cubbies last made it with Anthony Rizzo and Kyle Schwarber and all these guys, and they finally did it. They finally broke the curse. I don't think there was a single baseball fan that was upset that the Cubbies won the World Series. You may have been a White Sox fan or a Reds fan or a Brewers fan. You're like, oh, I hate the Cubbies. That's fine. But if you are a baseball fan, you were okay when the Cubbies won the World Series. And I feel like it's the same thing with Seattle. I think if Seattle makes a good run, especially gets all the way to the World Series, I don't think there would be a single fan base on the planet that would actually hate to see Seattle win a championship. And I mean, if I'm wrong, feel free to text in right now, 661-842-2000. If you're one of these people, I'd love to hear it. But I don't want you to say, no, I don't want to see Seattle. I want to see my Yankees. We know you want to see your team. Everybody wants to see their team in the final. But the point is, if your team wasn't in it, or if your team didn't make it, would you really be upset if someone like Seattle won? I don't think you would. I genuinely don't think you would.
Personally, I want to see
would love to
if
see
your
that.
team's out, or what other matchups are you looking forward to? Because really, I mean, all 4 series could go the long
All
way.
5.
So I mean, I would, just
I
as a
expect
fan of baseball, I would enjoy that.
Dodgers, Phillies, I expect to go 5. I expect Toronto and the Yankees to go 5. I don't expect Seattle and Detroit to go 5, but that's because I don't know exactly what we're going to get out of Detroit yet.
Or Seattle.
Or
in
Seattle.
general.
That's a good point too. Cal could completely go dry in the playoffs. But I have to agree with you. Most of these series, I'm looking at them. Cubbies, Brewers could go 5. I'm completely fine with it if they do. Personally, I'm in the camp that the NLDS and the ALDS need to be 7. You need to stretch this to 7. I know everybody's like, well, you bump up against other sports. You're trying to get it out of the way. If you're baseball, who cares?
I mean, if we already set for 160 something games or whatever.
Exactly. Who cares? You're trying to gain viewership anyway. You should be fighting these guys.
Would you adjust the wild card to 5?
No, I think 3 is perfect. I think a wild card series exactly the way we saw it is perfect, because the teams that are higher up on the seeding deserve home field advantage.
And don't need to wait that much longer.
Don't need to wait. We don't
That's
need
the only
the
thing I'm worried
travel
about.
day in between to go back and forth between New York and Boston.
The same thing you said about the Phillies. I love that we had the bye, but I just hope they don't come out cold.
I'm glad that they didn't waste their time and they used that time wisely by doing inter squad scrimmages that even brought in fans at some point to play. I mean, again, it is one of those situations that it sucks waiting around for somebody to play. But I think a 3-game series in the wild card was perfect. I
Man,
think
I
everybody
missed it
fixed
too.
that.
Was Cal and Schwarber
I don't even
on
know how
McAfee
many.
yesterday?
No, they were on McAfee 2 days ago, but
Okay.
I meant to watch McAfee yesterday just to see if we had a number, and I didn't get around to it. I've been running around here
Oh, the
so
money.
much.
Yeah, I forgot about that
I just
too.
wanted to see the figure. I
Yeah.
wanted to see how many home runs they hit and how much they actually donated, because he didn't give a full number per home run. He did tell them, it's like, I don't know exactly how much yet, but we'll let you know.
Got to check with my financial advisor.
Exactly. Well, I mean, think about it, dude. Look, I'm constantly shocked with how much money ESPN lets McAfee give away on a weekly basis. Because if you look at what he has done in his career on television, let's erase what he did with the baseball. Every single Saturday, this
College
kid
football.
pulls a kid from college to kick a field goal to potentially win hundreds of thousands of dollars. And every single week, they make the kick. And every single week, he ups the charge. It usually is supposed to sit at $100,000 for the kid. But every single time I watch one of these things, he's like, you know what? We're going to raise it to $300,000, $150 for you, $150 for you. And I'm like, damn, Pat, like, okay.
Whose
Like,
money you playing with?
that's exactly my thought, is like,
Disney.
every single time he does this, I was like, I hope that ESPN's okay with this, because the last thing I want to see is Pat McAfee show canceled.
Yes.
Like, it's the last thing I want to see.
Run us dry.
But at the same time, I'm like, dude, you got to be giving up your own money. You have to be. There's no way ESPN and Disney are okay with giving up millions upon millions of dollars to random kids at colleges for making a field goal. Like, there's no way. I'm sure when they first pitched this idea, they were like, oh, yeah, how many kids in college are actually going to be able to successfully kick a field goal, right? But
And these
now,
guys are machines now.
well, that, and they also have a problem of, like, because the whole purpose of this is when they go to college game day, the first like 150 kids get a raffle ticket. Whoever raffle ticket gets pulled is the one who gets to make the kick, right? But sometimes these kids are like, oh, I'm definitely not going to make this. I need somebody to help me. So they'll go to somebody in line, be like, hey, can you kick? And they're like, yeah, I can totally make it for you. And then that's when we have the situation where he's splitting it, between two people and all that type of stuff. And it's really become a problem because everyone that they've really pulled in to be the kicker for them has been somebody who has history in kicking a ball, either with soccer or football or something. And these kids are striking it. Like, these kids were going to hit it regardless. So I think that is probably going to run into a problem eventually. But regardless, like, the amount of money that McAfee gives away on his shows is wild. Because not even just that, but like the McAfee show, like the value show that they did a couple months ago, they did it in Indianapolis in a absolute stadium. They were literally giving away millions of dollars during the show multiple times to people in Indianapolis. So it's like, dude, there ain't no way you still make this much money. But if you do, good for you. And if you're giving it away, charity write-offs on your taxes must be ridiculous.
Or some type of contractual issue with Disney where they own part of this, or there's
Right.
got to be, because I'd like to see just how much money they've given away since they started it.
That's exactly my thought process too. And I'll look it up during the break, because I'm sure they have something close to a figure. Maybe it's not the exact number, but where would you ballpark it? 100 mil or just in this year, or within a year from now, or from today?
We're 5 or 6 weeks in, probably
Like 100 mil between this year and then the last year that he did it,
uh-huh.
plus all the stuff he gives away on his show and all that type of
stuff.
stuff. Like, easily $100 million. Easily.
Well, we'll take a break. We'll get into some WNBA news. Yes, WNBA news. And feel free to text or call in anytime, 661-842-2000. And like we said in the first hour, the Greg Kerr Show and the Money Wise guys, where we will return on the air today. Kerr, noon to 2, Money Wise, 2 to 3, right here on the ESPN studios off of California Avenue. We are the early bird
Real quick, hold on.
special.
I'm sorry not to cut you off, because I just looked it up because I was curious. We are way off. Apparently, McAfee has given over $2 million in prizes plus 1.7 last year as well. So we're only at about the $3 million, but that's still ridiculous amounts of money. I apologize. Didn't mean to cut you off, my friend. This is the early bird special on ESPN Bakersfield.
Oh, don't test me. I can do this entire song.
This is some side love. They aren't sponsors, but pizza, beer, baseball playoff. I mean, come on, Bakersfield Pizza Go. I'll just say.
Sorry, I'm thinking of my
Alejandro puts up, and they've got a full bar. So if you want to hang out with the early bird special, I just might be there on
I'm just
Saturday, just
saying.
watching baseball all day.
Look, brother, I got Phillies and Dodgers to watch.
There's no
I got
BC this weekend, so I'm off.
nope. We got a bye week with BC. We can make it work. We'll make it.
I'll make that work. Those
Absolutely.
peanut butter and jelly wings, I'll have to say, babe, you want peanut butter and jelly wings?
That's all you gotta say.
Should
Shoot,
be there.
I'll be there. You don't even gotta say that to me.
Let's talk about the WNBA Finals
Do
getting
what?
set to start tonight as the Las Vegas Aces take on the Phoenix Mercury.
Is it weird that the finals are starting while it seems like the league is just under attack?
Well, the league is under attack all the time, though. Let's be honest.
But
But
like the first night of the
See-
WNBA finals, and all they're talking is
I get you. I get where you're getting at here, and you're right. I mean, it does seem weird. We never really see any other sports organization with this kind of scrutiny while their finals are going on. But when your MVP of the league went and took it upon herself to sit down at a post-game presser and give a 4 to 5 minute dissertation on why the owner and the ownerships and the commissioner and all these people are just incompetent essentially for what they do.
they know business, they don't know basketball.
I get it, but at the same time, we've been harping on this for a long time since this argument has begun. Where do they get the money? Where do they really understand you can't make money or give out money if you're not making it? Is more what I meant to say. Nafisa Collier is a fantastic athlete. Nobody is denying that. Nobody is saying that she doesn't deserve more money. In fact, all of these women deserve more money. Nobody is saying that. But when Nafisa Collier, the MVP, is sharing text messages from your commissioner saying that Caitlin Clark should be happy that she's getting millions upon millions of dollars because the WNBA gives her the platform to do that, that right there is exactly why that woman should be fired. You are so full of yourself that you think Caitlin Clark needs you? Are you stupid?
Hey, you're taking shots the wrong way.
Are you like, that is a genuine amount of delusion that I don't subscribe to. We're talking about the woman that literally doubled the amount of money every single team made this year. We're talking about a woman that sells out stadiums because of who she is. We're talking about a woman who literally walked on the court in the WNBA and made you relevant. There is nothing on this planet that you, madam, should be thanking God for more than Caitlin goddamn Clark. And for that woman, the commissioner of the WNBA, to go around and say that Caitlin should be thankful to the WNBA because it gives them a platform. You really don't think Caitlin will be walking around the country right now making the same amount of money she's making if she wasn't a WNBA superstar? No. Come on. She'd be making the exact same amount of money. You guys would be in a bigger hole than you've ever been. And no one would even be talking about your finals to begin with. So let's really figure out who's important here. That was the one thing that Nafisa Collier said that I thought was damning. Now, the rest of it was all valid points. But again, like we've said on this show a million times, when you're losing millions upon millions of dollars every year and you haven't exactly started making money yet, they can't up your salary. I'm sorry. That's just how it works. Trust me, we work in radio. We know all too well how that works out. But when you do start making the money behind the backs of Nafisa Collier, Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, then you will be able to actually pay these women what they deserve. Not try to claim that the only reason that Caitlin Clark is relevant is because she plays in your league, a league that nobody cares about. Let's be honest, and hasn't for a while.
Well, we've seen how the ratings just dropped after her injury.
Exactly. But of course, she should be thankful to you and the WNBA because you give her that platform. You are the reason Caitlyn is so popular. She didn't do this at Iowa. She didn't do this in the NCAA. Dipshit.
If you're not a WNBA fan, you wouldn't even know who this Collins is. It's all Caitlyn all the time, and I think Caitlyn deserves more. I mean, if she can bring in more, and I know we've talked about some, there's other players that are coming in that is hopefully bring this WNBA to the next stage. But I think you said it off the air before the show that, maybe somebody needs to come in and invest and maybe bring it to where we all think it should be.
That is the only thing. I know I somewhat mentioned it on Monday, but that's the only thing that I kind of see coming in. We have seen, especially in today's day in sports, that the Saudi Arabian culture has really tried to legitimize themselves through the world of sports. And it wouldn't be far past it, in my opinion, for them to really call the NBA, who subsidize the WNBA, and give them the money and say, hey, we will take that for you. We got the money to pay these women what they want. Allow us to do that for you. And in a way, we will get some sort of cut out of it, or, whatever the deal may be. I don't know exactly what the deals pertain in terms of some of these other sports they've jumped into. I know TKO, obviously, they have a heavy, heavy stake in that. So they get a lot of the money back that they obviously put forward. But when it comes to the WNBA, quickest way to keep a strike from happening and keep these players happy would be to pay them. And the only people on the planet right now that got the money to pay them, probably the money they want, would be the Saudi Arabian government, or the Saudi Arabian groups, I should say, that come over and fund a lot of these sports. So it would not be shocking, in my opinion, especially after we just watched them buy EA. They've bought into wrestling and UFC. I mean, if they had a chance, they'd probably buy into the NFL. Let's be honest. So at this point, WNBA, if you really want to save yourself the trouble, you want to save yourself the strike that is coming, let's be honest, it's right around the corner. We're going to see a lockout. I don't think that's going to be a good thing for the players, but it is what it is.
And it'll probably last a while.
A long time. We may not see Juju Watkins on the court. We may not see this next level of basketball talent from the NCAA make it to the pros just solely because of how long this lockout would be.
And this divide is not,
it's not
going to help.
It doesn't. And honestly, the divide isn't going anywhere either. You don't see any of the players really levying back from what they want. They're standing on their business. And again, I respect them for that. But at some point, you got to know when the levee breaks, man.
And that's what we've been saying for months. I mean, you got to pick the right time. I mean, I could understand if the league was on the rise and making a lot of money, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're picking a fight that really doesn't have a winning end right now.
Not at all. And again, if that's the fight you want to fight, that's the battle you want to die on or die in, go for it. But at this point right now, I think the WNBA is going to learn very quickly that this isn't acceptable. But at the same time, I think the players are going to find out, especially if they go to a lockout, exactly where they really stand. Because it's not going to be one of those situations like you see with the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, where these owners are rushing around to figure out a solution to get players back on the court. It's not going to happen.
And not a big surprise, but Clark, shortly after that interview, she declined to participate in the unrivaled 3-on-3, which Collier co-founded, of course. And then some side news, Angel Reese. I love me some Angel Reese, but those me bounds that she trademarked, we talked about. Now she's coming out saying she's making six-figure
bank
out of that. She's making cash money.
If there's ever been an athlete that has cashed in more on their hate, it is Angel Reese, man. And to be honest with you, I told you this before the show, and I'm gonna die on this hill. She probably won't play basketball forever. She'll probably play maybe for 2-3 more years, and then she'll go to modeling and make more money as a model than she ever did as a basketball player. She is incredibly talented in multiple ways, but she's also brilliant. The minute this me bound thing really started to get viral, that was brilliant to go and copyright that.
Yeah, she's a genius. She's
She-
got the plan B and C already
Brilliant.
set up.
As much grief as I love to give her, because to be honest with you, I don't care for the showboating. I don't care for her attitude a lot of the time. I really don't. But I have to give her credit, man. That was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. And for you to be able to make a business off of it, good for you. Now, stay away from a microphone and stop criticizing your own teammates, and maybe you'll be able to stay on Chicago's team for once. But
I don't see it happening.
no, I don't either. She'll probably get shipped off to LA since, that's where she does a lot of her work.
Money.
Probably sit there with Cameron Brink for a while and play a couple games for the Sparks before she inevitably says, I'm done with this, and goes and does something different.
And before we get away, I know the NBA exhibition game between the Knicks and Sixers took place last night in Abu Dhabi. And Josh Hart went down after getting a rebound. It looked like he just landed awkwardly. And as it's one of the first times I've ever seen a player get injured and ejected on the same play. I mean, he threw the ball out in the crowd, pissed off because of the injury.
I need to see the video.
It is hilarious.
I need
But
to see the
he just
video.
grabs the ball and tosses it, like just frustrated,
No, I get you, and
and then gets ejected while he's hobbling off the court.
It's like I said about the baseball umpires, though. It's like I get that's a rule, but there are certain situations you got to read the room, dude. Like, he's frustrated at his injury. You have to understand that that's not something that these athletes like to happen. So why are you throwing him out of the game?
You can start doing it with football players when they slam their
Right.
helmets down.
Exactly. Like, that's a little ridiculous. Like, emotions fly during competition. It's okay to allow that. I've never understood why people get so uptight when they see an athlete show some emotion on the court or on the field. I've never gotten that, because if you've played a sport, your emotions are not normal. They're not sitting there just calm all the time. And if they are, you're a complete outlier, my friend. Because most people I know when they're playing sports are very emotional. They're very competitive. They're angry. And when bad things happen, when you're playing something that you love, emotions come out.
It happens.
Now, baseball players have it the worst because, God, when you blow up on an umpire, it gets crazy. But, I mean, baseball players just might have to deal with it in a different way than a lot of these other guys do. I feel for him. I hope this injury doesn't keep him out long term. But if you got injured on the same play, I don't see a point in throwing him out. It's not like he's going to be able to come back in the game anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a wild story. I got to see the video on that.
Well, we'll take a break. We'll wrap up the last half hour. We'll get into some entertainment news as we wait. We're on Diddy Watch.
We are on Diddy Watch. I genuinely thought it would have broke by now, but maybe
Of course, it'll happen
assessing.
at 9:05, right when the show ends. But we'll get into that and much more. There's a ton of movies out. I'm surprised I haven't had any time. There's been crazy couple weeks, but
I need to go see the Smashing Machine.
Ton of movies out right now.
Him looks fantastic. I'm gonna pass on the long walk though. I've read the book and it's not something that I genuinely want to see on the movie theater.
I want to see the new DiCaprio movie.
Yeah, that looked good.
There's a ton of movies out.
A little different for him too. I'm not used to seeing him in a fast-paced action film like that. It was kind of different.
We'll get into that and much more right here on the Early Bird Special.
Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special on 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. ESPN Bakersfield. We also stream video live every single weekday from 7 to 9 in the morning on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can find us on all of those platforms. Just look us up at the Early Bird Special. You can also find us on TikTok and Instagram. See a couple of our reels. Look out on our YouTube page as well, as some of our extra stuff will be coming very, very soon. The Bump That segment will be on the YouTube page very soon, amongst other things. If you weren't with us on Tuesday with our guy 24KG, this new Bump That thing we're going to be doing is an extra video on the side of all of the main stories that we didn't get to talk to during the show. And we could be a little more loose with it, be a little more fun with it. There's not going to be as much guidelines and whatnot. I'm not going to sit here and tell you we're going to be cussing up a storm, because that's not the truth, but you'll be able to hear a little more comedic side from us, and we'll be able to talk about all of these topics that we didn't get to. We probably would have been able to talk about the Nafisa Collier thing a little bit earlier, since we didn't get to that a couple days ago.
Taylor Swift's new album that comes out today.
I mean, I couldn't care less, but I know you and our program director, JR Flores, are very excited to listen to Life of a Showgirl. I mean, again,
you're missing out.
I'll listen to it. Don't get me wrong. There's not a single Taylor Swift song I have not listened to, and that's because of someone very special in my life, and I promised her I would, and I do. But
I'll have that vinyl by 11 o'clock today.
Really? You went full vinyl?
Oh yeah, I've been collecting vinyl my whole life.
Nice. That's cool. I don't know. It's just not for me. It's not my style of music. I respect everybody who's a Swiftie. I don't hate Taylor in any way, shape, or form. You just won't see me in line buying the CD unless it's for somebody else. I'm just being honest about that.
Well, SmackDown is live from Cincinnati, Ohio tonight.
Well, at least we'll see some good sports in Cincinnati.
Hopefully. I know the Crown Jewel is next weekend in Australia. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of just sprinkling and pumping up these matches. And I don't think we've got the full fight card right.
No, I think that we are still awaiting a handful of matches, which might be put together today and Monday. So if you are a wrestling fan, I would watch SmackDown tonight and Monday Night Raw.
Hopefully it's better than last week's.
Actually, no, it might even be Monday Morning Raw if they're in Australia early on Monday. I don't know the start time to this next Raw. I would assume if they're in Australia, we're talking about 10 o'clock in the morning. But
only matches I've seen set up for tonight is Cody and Randy Orton against the Braun and Bronson,
which is going to be a fun one to watch, I would assume.
It's like
they're pushing these two.
Right?
Look, I think the entire idea of the Brawns and pushing them to the height that they are is to really take on these tag teams that everybody calls the greatest tag teams, so they can build themselves as just heels, while at the same time get ready for the inevitable betrayal at some point. But that either Bronson or Braun or Seth, somebody is going to break this group up, and then you get these guys all separate again, just running roughshod through the entire roster.
I'm looking forward to that part.
That's going to be great.
I know Sami Zayn's got his open challenge again tonight.
Expect a NXT star.
You think so?
I would. I genuinely would. I don't know if it's the one everybody's been talking about in Mr. Obafemi, who is a fantastic athlete, former shot putter at University of Alabama, by the way. But I do think there's a couple other people that need to be thrown in a little bit earlier just to get them on the main roster. We saw it with Javon Evans last week. I think you can do it with Tony D'Angelo, who again has been kind of distant and gone from NXT for quite some time now. And with this whole thing with TNA going on, maybe we see a TNA star throw his name in the ring. Maybe we see Joe Hendry show up. Who knows?
Something different would be much needed, I believe. But the other names, they did mention the Damian Priest appearance, and Tiffy will cut her next promo after that botched match last week.
Again, botched not because of her. We love Tiffy on this show.
I do love me some Tiffy time.
I do believe one of those matches that we're going to be looking at for Crown Jewel will probably be the inevitable conclusion of Damian Priest versus Aleister Black.
Oh my.
And it will probably be, because of the way of the wording of the promo last week, it'll be a last man standing match. I hope and pray this is it.
Please
end it. I love both of these wrestlers, and you're doing them both a massive disservice. One, not having them be a tag team together, but two, putting them against each other. Because as I said with our guy KG, these are the same exact guys, the same exact dude as two separate wrestlers. Dark rock star, very vampiric vibe, martial arts background. I mean, come on. The only difference is Aleister Black wasn't born in New York.
Make it a street fight.
But at this point, how many street fights are we going to get?
I mean, how many matches are we going to see with them?
I mean, that's fair.
I think the more we talked about it, which we'll bring up with KG, but I think with all the writing, I know we've got a real plane right now that a lot of people have their 2 cents on it, but I think it might be a good time to kind of rush this Braun and maybe the whole vision and splitting it up just because the stories are just getting bland and overran.
And we're talking about splitting it, but who's to say they don't? Who's to say they don't split it, but they just have each one of them go after a different singles title? We finally let Braun go after a big title. We let Bronson probably go after maybe the IC or the US title. You know what I mean? Like, I agree with you. Maybe we need to just not necessarily separate the group, but separate what they're doing. Not all of them are going after the same guys. Yeah, exactly. Like, and this is coming from myself, who honestly just about 2-3 weeks ago said we weren't getting enough tag team matches in PLEs.
Now you're force-fed it.
Exactly, but it's not the right tag teams that should be put on display. It should be the champions.
SmackDown, we're seeing Braun and Bronson every week. I'm like, okay, I love them. I love the guys, but I would like to see them switch up, and I still think I think it's coming.
Do you think that this is tied to something in TKO? Do you think that maybe there are some people above the creative group that are just saying, hey, you have to have these guys in each of the shows because our people love them?
Probably.
Because I'm telling you right now, for those of you who don't believe that that's a thing, I mean, maybe not in the story writing it's a thing, but in the influence of who's on what show, that's definitely a thing.
And it goes back to what we talked about last week, because there's been a lot of talk with, The Rock having to be at a couple of these events. And I think that's another thing. And we did get a message that was talking about they don't think Cena's final match is the final match.
See, that is the rumor.
I would be shocked if
Bubba Ray Dudley on Busted Open a few weeks ago, and I parroted this because I loved the idea, but he even brought it up. He said, why stop in December? WrestleMania is 4 months away, and you don't even need to wrestle for those 4 months. Let everyone believe that you're gone. Like, let's say the final match at Saturday night's main event is against Brock, and he gets destroyed again. Let him go off for 3 months and then randomly come back. Could you imagine the pop where he just sits there with a microphone and says, it didn't sit right with me. I can't do that. I can't go out on a loss. You know what I mean? Because that's John Cena.
It'd be easy to use.
Oh, it's John Cena in a nutshell, man. Wrestling fans would eat that alive. And have your final match, John Cena's retirement match, final, Las Vegas, baby, WrestleMania, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, one final time. This time it's done. This time John actually wins, and we move on. Everybody's happy. John gets to go off on his white horse and be the GOAT. Brock is still the beast. And now you give Brock something to get mad about, and he goes and takes it out on other wrestlers. It just makes sense to me. It makes too much sense.
Almost too much sense.
I know. But again, that's usually what happens when it comes to wrestling, is they never take the route you think they will just because they know you're expecting it. I do agree, though. I just, there's something about this final match for John Cena that doesn't feel like the final match to me. It
doesn't fit right. But we'll take our final break. We'll wrap up this week. We'll get into our final segment, what we're watching this weekend. Plus, I wanted to throw out a documentary that they teased during the Thursday night game last night, right here on the ESPN Early Bird Special, 12:30 a.m.
101.1 FM.
I had a big shout out. My boy Seth wanted a shout out to his wife, Haley, staying with him for 16 years.
Tell me how to do it, man. Tell me.
And of course, he sends me a picture with Vaughn's helping him out as he's picking up his gift for his
That's awesome.
wife, and it's a Pampers base.
Oh, that's so
Vaughn's helped him
cool.
out. And I go to the same spot whenever there's a date or I'm in trouble for something. Vaughn's always hooks it up right. So
Every time.
happy anniversary, guys! That's awesome. 16 years, man.
How do you do it? I could barely keep someone around for 2
Weeks.
Yeah, I wasn't going to put a date on it, but hey, at this point.
But no, I wanted to bring up. I know there's a ton to watch. Baseball playoffs. There's just a lot going on this weekend. And of course, next weekend is Bakersfield Brunch Fest. Well, we'll give away tickets all next week. But
Yes, we will.
Watching that Niners-Rams game last night, they promoted on Prime the Saquon documentary. And I guess it's been like a video library he's done for 4 or 5 years.
I'm very curious how he pulled this off. Now, for those of you who haven't seen it yet, because they have been pumping it up for the last couple games, but Saquon had a film crew around him all last season, and they just took video of how the season went for him specifically. Didn't get anybody else. It was just him in his entire year with the Eagles. I'm curious to see what this really entails and how he felt about his move specifically from the Giants to Philly and just how different it is. Because again, we said multiple times that GM for the Giants should have been fired on the spot.
I still can't believe he still has a
on
job.
the spot. But again, that shows me that the Giants probably just have organizational issues.
And my buddy Dr. Gerhardt, diehard Giants fan, and he texted in, we need some more love for Jackson Tart.
Look, man, I love Jack. If Jackson comes out, I picked up Jackson in fantasy football this week, just to let you know. And if he comes out and torches New Orleans,
which he should be,
I will be singing his praises up and down this studio all Monday morning. All Monday morning. I'm not even joking. I am a Falcons fan, diehard Falcons fan. I usually like to put my favoritism and biases to the side. But when it comes to the Saints and when it comes to the Panthers, anybody who beats them, I will celebrate you every single day of the week. I could not possibly care less. Other things to look out for this weekend, though, if you haven't gotten down to the movies, you need to. Smashing Machine, starring The Rock, coming out this weekend. Sparky was just talking about Him, the Jordan Peele-produced horror movie. Looks fantastic. The Long Walk is still out there. Stephen King book. I'm going to stay away from that, but that's just because I've read the book and I know how this thing goes, and it is not pretty. Personally, not only will I be watching, hopefully, Vanderbilt beat up on Alabama and upset them for the second year in a row, this time in Tuscaloosa, but I will also be watching UFC 320.
Yes.
Pereira hopefully taking that belt back. We got plenty of fantastic NFL football for you to check out this weekend. ESPN Bakersfield right here will have most of it, what we have so far for Sunday. You will be hearing the London game starting at 6:15, Vikings and Broncos. Your Raiders will be on right after that at 9:30. Please be patient, by the way. We cannot switch over until the game before
and it's not Greg Kerr's fault.
And it's not Greg Kerr's fault. He doesn't run this station. I'm sorry if I just blew your bubble. But Greg Kerr is not the one that has to do any of this. So let's just calm down. Your game is going to get there. They will be live at 9:30. There will be a game at 1. We are not sure which one, but then we will end that night at 4:30 with the Patriots and the Bills in one of the better rivalry games I think we're going to see all weekend long. And there's plenty of playoff baseball to talk about on Monday as well. And we will get to every single bit of it. No days off, as Bill Belichick said. Even though at this point my candle is so thin, I'm pretty sure I don't have a wick anymore.
Yeah, Bakersfield Pizza Co.
Absolutely.
I'll be watching my Mariners. And
absolutely.
Have you heard Chapel Bill? They call it Chapel Bill now.
Don't matter. Chapel Bill in this awful Tar Heels team. Nobody gives a dang. At this point, I'm starting to believe he ain't even a good coach. It's Bill Belichick. But that's all we got for you guys this week. Hope you guys join us next week, starting on Monday, 7 to 9. We got to get out of the way for the great Rich Eisen. Sparky, let's go home.